Hi Madison, this is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and this is your new Nesco. And this is the final test before we pack her up to ship her out to you. And in this test we're going to go over how to use all the various controls. How to wind the bobbin, how to thread the machine, how to sew, set the stitch length, stitch width, use the different stitch patterns. So without further ado, let's wind the bobbin. The bobbin is in the bobbin case, which is below the slide plate. There's a little latch on the side of the bobbin case, a little spring-loaded latch that you can use to pull it in and out of the machine. And as long as you're holding that latch, your bobbin won't drop out. Let go of the latch and you can drop the bobbin into your hand. There's a little bit of thread on there that I'm going to pull off. Nobody ever uses the thread that they leave on the bobbin. Let's see. How about we wind a bobbin in a nice green color. Put your spool on the spool pin, go into this big thread guide right here. From there down to this bobbin winder tensioner down here. And just slip the thread in between the discs there, and you'll feel a little bit of tension on the thread. Put the thread through one of the holes of the bobbin from the inside towards the out. And hold it with your finger while you put a few wraps on the bobbin to hold the thread in place while the bobbin winds. Now, with the thread going on over the top of the bobbin, slide your bobbin onto the bobbin winder and turn the rubber tire until the little keeper pin goes into the slot on the side of the bobbin. Push the bobbin winder where it says push against the hand wheel, so the rubber tire is contacting the hand wheel, and then the hand wheel can turn the bobbin. Declutch your machine by turning the chrome knob in the center of the hand wheel towards you, or 1/8 of a turn or so, until you feel it hit its stop. And then the hand wheel can spin without cycling the rest of the machine and wind your bobbin. So give it a little bit of gas. No reason to go fast. And as the bobbin fills, the thread's going to push this little lever up until when it's all the way full, let me adjust that just a little bit. So it winds a little more evenly. So as it fills with thread, it's going to push this lever up until when the bobbin is full, you'll turn it off. So we're not going to wind the whole bobbin. We're just going to do enough for our test here. Let me try another bobbin. Just make sure I've got that adjustment right. through any one of the holes in the side. Hold the thread with your finger, put a few wraps on here. Turn it so that the thread is going on over the top of the bobbin. Slide it on your bobbin winder. Turn the rubber tire until the little keeper pin goes into the slot in the side of the bobbin. Push where it says push. Declutch your machine. Okay, that's better. Deal with that later. So now, with the thread coming off the top of your bobbin in this direction, drop the bobbin into the bobbin case. Hold the little latch on the side, and with this finger here pointing up, slide it onto the pin in the center. Oh, wait. Before we do that, let's do that over. With the thread coming off this side, slide the bobbin into the bobbin case, and then you have to direct the thread into this little slot on the side of the bobbin and up under the flat leaf spring until you feel it click into place. Now you feel a little bit of drag on the thread. That's your lower tension. So holding the latch with the finger pointing up, slide it onto the pin in the center of the hook down below your slide plate, and make sure that that little finger goes into the cutout that's made for it, and that your bobbin pushes all the way on. Your needle, of course, has to be up out of the needle hole. To thread the machine, put your bobbin on, and put your spool on the spool pin. Go into the big thread guide in the front here, down between the discs of the tension assembly and all the way around until you can pick up this little thin check spring. Then you go back and under this big thread guide here, and up and through the take-up lever, which is the thing that goes up and down when you sew, from the right towards the left. And put both of those threads into this thread guide right here. There's another thread guide down here, right here. You don't have to open the door to do that. I just wanted to show you. And then down to the thread guide on the needle. Well, on the needle clamp actually. And then through the needle from the left towards the right. I forgot to mention you should also retighten the chrome clutch knob in the center of the hand wheel. Now, holding your needle thread loosely, turn the hand wheel towards you one full revolution, and the needle will take the thread down where the hook will pick it up, wrap it around the bobbin, and bring up your lower thread. And there it is, there's your lower thread. Put the thread between the toes of the presser foot and towards the back of the machine. and we're ready to sew. Put your fabric under the presser foot. Lower the presser foot using the lever on the back of the machine. Now, to set your stitch length, this is your stitch length down here, the bigger dial. And you can see on the dial, you can see the size of the stitches that it's going to make. So we're going to go to the medium small stitches here. So I'm going to turn it until the indicator is on this little stripe right there. All the way, your indicator all the way over here to this side. Those are the shortest stitches. With your indicator all the way over to this side, those are your longest stitches. So we're going to go to a medium small. This orange button in the middle is your reverse lever. We'll get to that later. This down here, these two buttons, these are your feed drop. If you're going to do patching or darning or machine embroidery or anything like that, and you want to be able to move the fabric by yourself in any direction, you want to release, you want to drop the feed dogs by pressing the button on this side. To bring the feed dogs back up for regular sewing, you push this side. So I'm going to push this down. So the feed dogs are never going to come up high enough to grab the fabric and move it. They'll stay down below the bed. You'll be the one moving your fabric. You're also going to take the pressure off of the sewing foot to make it easier to move the fabric. And you do that by pushing this little collar on the side of the, this is the adjuster for how much pressure is on your sewing foot. So I'm going to push the little collar and you'll see this pop up. Okay, sorry, you turn the collar, you don't push it. Spring loaded, you'll feel it. And now all the pressure is off this foot and you can move the fabric yourself. But we're not going to do darning or machine embroidery right now, so I'm going to push this down about roughly halfway, which is ballpark pressure for regular fabric from regular thread. We're going to bring the feed dogs back up. So now the feed dogs will be moving the fabric. And you're not going to push it or pull it. You just let the machine pull the fabric through. You just guide it. Otherwise you can flex the needle and make it miss a needle hole, and break the needle, and yeah, you don't want to do that. This knob here is your stitch width. And you can, stitch width is how far it zigs and zags to make a zigzag stitch. And you can do it manually while you're sewing using this knob here to make fancy patterns. Or you just push this lever down until you reach the stitch width that you want, and it's marked right here on the plate. The wide stitches are over here, the narrow stitches are over here. All the way over there is straight stitch, where there's no zigzag at all. This is your stitch pattern selector. In order to change stitch patterns, you have to press down this lever here. Hold this lever down, you'll be able to turn this knob, and the different stitches are marked on there. You'll see what they are. You want to turn it to M for regular sewing if you're not going to make any special stitch patterns. We're ready to sew a straight stitch. Is there anything I missed? This is your light switch. Bolt was loose. And this is your tension. We're going to set our tension at around 2.5. for regular thread, regular fabric. We'll see how that looks. So here we go. Why am I sewing a... Okay, bring this lever all the way back up to the top for straight stitch. There we go. I did not have my bobbin in all the way. Yeah, make sure you get your bobbin in all the way. And I have my thread wrapped around the thread spool. Okay, I'm going to put a, let's see, what colors do I have? I'm going to put a rather faded red one, so I won't contrast too badly. I'm going to put a felt on here to keep the thread spool from spinning. You don't want it to freewheel. 'Pull out about 4 to 6 inches of thread on your bobbin. Again, hold the latch. You can make sure your needle's up out of the fabric, and then slide the bobbin case onto that post. Yeah, that's in place. Yeah, make sure it goes on securely here. That will cause problems. Hold your thread loosely. Turn the hand wheel towards you. One full revolution. Up comes your bottom thread. Thread between the toes of the presser foot towards the back. And now we're ready to sew. That's strange. Why are we sewing a blind stitch? I didn't know this machine made a blind stitch. Huh. That's cool. Okay, that's a blind stitch, but I don't know how we turned it on. So I'm going to turn you off. I'm going to research that and find out whether this turned on the blind stitch or this turned on the blind stitch. Or maybe that turned on the blind stitch. That's what I get for not reading. Oh! Duh. I had the selector turned wrong. I was pointing the, I thought the, yeah, never mind. There is a little arrow here. Turn the red M towards the little arrow. Then you're on straight stitch. I was on blind stitch. Now we're going to sew a straight stitch. Okay, again, stitch length, also a little longer stitch. You'll see the fabric move faster because it's making bigger stitches each time. Then I'm going to turn it back to where we were at a medium short. More, push the button for reverse, forward, reverse, forward. And then let's add some stitch width. And I always take the fabric up out of the, I take the needle up out of the fabric before I change the stitch width so I don't accidentally bend the needle. So I'm going to just take this all the way down to the widest stitch width, and now we're going to make a zigzag. That's a nice looking zigzag. Nice stitch. Let's see what else. Oh, fancy stitch patterns. Let's make a fancy stitch pattern. You saw us do a blind stitch a second ago. If you're going to sew an automatic pattern, bring your stitch width back all the way to the top so your indicator is on the straight stitch. Hold down this lever so you can turn the selector dial. That was a blind stitch. Second one is kind of a triangle stitch. Third one's a scallop stitch, which it's a nice one. We'll do a scallop stitch. For that, you want a short stitch length. And to do the really, really short stitch lengths, you really need a satin stitch foot, which has a little channel. Looks just like this, except it has a channel on the bottom to let the slightly humped up thread that it makes when it's sewing really close stitches. So for really tiny short stitches, you probably want to use a satin stitch foot, but this is just a regular stitch, so I'm not going to go down as far as we could. But here we go. Now it's selecting its own stitch width. And you may or may not be able to see that on the camera, but this is the stitch we're sewing, this nice scallop stitch. Now, with the needle up out of the fabric, I'm going to change to a different one. So holding this lever down, I'm going to turn a couple more stitches to that pyramid looking one, and away we go. See that different stitch we're sewing over here. Those are your scallop stitches. This is that pyramid stitch. And you have half a dozen or more. Looks like about 8 different stitch patterns there that you can play with. People rarely use those patterns, but if you're doing something decorative, you have some nice options there. So just to go over it again, this is your stitch width, all the way, indicator all the way to the right is your shortest stitches, indicator all the way to the left are your longest stitches. Yeah, medium short is good for regular fabric. Stitch width here, you can do, well, let's do that. Go back to short stitches. Now, while I'm sewing a straight stitch. No, I'm not, but I will be. Okay, sewing along a nice straight stitch. Now I'm going to add a little stitch width. Oops, I got it too close. Too short a stitch. Anyway, what I was trying to show you is that while you're sewing, you can vary your stitch width to make interesting patterns. But use this lever to set your stitch width for zigzag. When you're done zigzagging, bring this lever all the way back up. stitch width, make sure you hold down this lever, make sure your needle's up out of the fabric, then you can turn this dial. If you don't hold the lever down, you can't turn the dial. Light switch, pressure on your sewing foot to release it. Turn it slightly, turn the collar slightly, reset it roughly halfway down. Drop the feed dogs. You can also drop the feed dogs part way if you're working with delicate fabric, you know, silk or something, and you don't want to mar the fabric. You can make it so the feed dogs don't come up quite as far and make marks on your fabric. But for the most part, you're going to want to be all the way down on the right side, all the way down on the left side for embroidery. Bobbin winder, tensioner for your bobbin winder. That's about it. So, hey, good luck with this machine. It's a beauty. Really pretty machine. So it's a nice stitch. And yeah, she should last you forever if you take care of her. Oil her every 8 hours or so of sewing. If you sew like an hour a day, every day, after 8 days you'll want to oil it. Just one drop and at each oil point. You can see the little oil holes. And there are more places that need to be oiled. I'll see what I can do about finding a user manual for you. This is not a real common machine, so finding that exact user manual might end up having a different name. It might not say Nesco, it might say Brother or some other brand name, but it will be the same machine. Yep, that's all I can think of. Thanks again, and if this is somebody else who has found this video on YouTube, we are Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and we restore vintage sewing machines. And if you would like to have your machine lovingly restored by people who have been doing this since the 1990s and have restored well over 1,000 machines, you can reach us at SRVSew@gmail.com. SRVSew, that's Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing. No, that's not right. Sam, Robert, Victor, Sam, Edward, Walter @gmail.com. SRVSew@gmail.com. Send us a message and we can talk about getting your beauty to us and making her young again. And Madison, again, thank you so much. We appreciate your support for what we do here. That's it. Bye.